A heat wave had hit the island of Sodor, and all the engines were grumbling terribly. They all wanted to have a rest and have nice cool washdowns to cool off, but they all knew they had to be really useful engines and take the passengers and deliveries to their destinations right on time, otherwise there would be confusion and delay. But when the engines heard that the circus was to arrive and travel along the island, they got very excited and all wondered who would pull the special train. One day after a busy day, Scarlario returned to Crovin's Gate to find all the engines were in bad moods. What's wrong? First the beast from the east, now this shit and heat wave! Roared Duncan furiously. The winter wasn't too bad for you, you're Scottish. Pah! And Scarlari rolled his eyes as the engines engaged in a heated argument. Quiet, you impertinent scallywags, said Duke. Don't you think the heater's the least of your worries right now? The engines fell silent. Scarlari was confused. But when an oily purr of an engine crept up quietly towards the shed, Scarlari knew why. Well, hello there, scrap heaps! Diesel 10's voice sneered. Scarlari jumped at the voice. He had heard of Diesel 10 and how all the engines on the Fat Controllers Railway were terrified of him, but he never imagined he was this terrifying. Hello? What are you doing here? Stammered Sahandel. Your controllers brought me into, well, helping your line. Helping with what? That's none of your business! And Diesel 10 angrily showed them Pinchy before laughing. Yes, that's right. Whilst I'm here, you little engines will be seeing a lot of me and Pinchy scaring you, cackled Diesel 10. All the engines shook as Diesel 10 departed. Well, we'll put a stop to that nonsense. But how? Yes, how exactly? Said the Fin Controller. All the engine's eyes turned to him. Now, I know what Diesel did just now is unacceptable, and I will make a formal complaint to the company that owns him. But as long as he is, I don't want my engines playing practical pranks on him. But why is he here, sir? He's here to take pieces of metal from my line to the smelter's yards to be melted, starting from tomorrow. Rusty will be the one to take the train to him at Craven's Gate. Yes, sir. But I've got good news for you all. The circus that has arrived to the island will be coming to our railway. The engines, suddenly all excited, cheered with their whistles. But I have not yet decided who should pull the special train, so tonight I will roll the dice and whatever number of engine it lands on will pull the special train next weekend. And with that, the Fin Controller left. All the engines were excited. Who knows, maybe the elephant will scare Diesel just like it did to Henry. This made all the engines laugh, but Duke laughed so hard that he almost got hiccups. But however, the thought of Diesel 10 soon faded away as the engines started to debate on who would pull the special train. It was the day of the arrival of the circus, and Sahandel had been chosen to pull the special train, much to the dismay of the others. He had bragged on for nights and nights, but last night had been particularly bad, and Scarlari had barely gotten any sleep. His driver and fireman were heating up his firebox, but Scarlari was so tired he couldn't keep his eyes open. He was about to doze off when suddenly Diesel 10 coming up alongside horned loudly, making Scarlari wake up in surprise. He shot forward and came off the rails. "You right, Scarlari?" "Yes, I'm fine, Reneus, but blast that Diesel, scaring us like that." Scarlari had been picked up by the breakdown train and was sent to the steamworks. Sahandel, who was about to take the special train, was furious. "How dare he make Scarlari jump and have an accident? I think it's time he got taught a lesson. Don't forget, if you didn't keep us up all night, this wouldn't have happened in the first place either." "Yes, I must admit that was also the case, but that Diesel has been scaring us for the past week, and no matter how many times the Fin Controller has complained to the owners, he still carries on. No, I think it's time we did something." "Come on, Sahandel," said his driver. "We must get ready for the train." As Sahandel set off thinking how he could pay Diesel 10 out. But by the time he got to the station, he hadn't been able to come up with anything. A load of trucks were waiting. He covered up behind them and waited and waited. Where's Henry? He was supposed to have arrived an hour ago. Patience to handle. Something's probably holding them up. He should be here soon. When suddenly a loud horn could be heard. Sir Handel's face turned. He knew who that horn belonged to. Diesel 10 slowly arrived onto the platform, grinning. Right, it's time to sort this nonsense. Well, well, if it isn't a small, tiny, steamy. Yes, whatever, but listen here, you caused Scarlo's accident this morning, and I can tell you now that I am not very happy. What, he doesn't like a good scare? What a pussy. If you can refrain from insulting my, friends, I'd like to suggest that you stop scaring me and the others whilst you're here, or else. Or else? Are you threatening me, tiny engine? The name's Sir Handel, and you mark my words, Karma's going to get you very soon. It's going to be pretty sweet when it does. Whatever. And with that, Diesel 10 left. When Henry finally arrived at the circus. Was that? Yes, I'm afraid it was. He's been causing nothing but trouble since he's come here. He caused Scarlo to have an accident this morning, and is now at the steamworks. I've been trying to come up with a plan to get back at him, but I can't come up with anything. I'd say the best thing to do is just to ignore him. As hard as it may seem, it's always the right way. Then Sir Handel saw the jam tank, which was for the donuts at the circus. An idea popped into his head. Driver, when the workmen get to the tank, can you ask them to take a little out? What the heavens for? I've got a plan. Later on that day, Diesel 10 was resting in Craven Gate sheds, purring comfortably. His driver staggered towards him. Come on now, let's fill your tank up. Now the driver was drunk and he reached for the fuel tanker, but he was so drunk he didn't realise it had been tampered with, and instead of there being fuel, it had been replaced with sticky red jam. The driver got in and turned the key. Diesel 10 shot forward. Suddenly, he started giggling hysterically. The other engines came to see what all the noise was, just in time to see Diesel 10 come off the rails. The engines couldn't help but laugh. Haha, looks like Karma caught up with you. Roar! Roared Diesel. He didn't like being made fun of. Now what is this then? Diesel 10 gulped. He knew he was in serious trouble now. Sir, it wasn't my... It doesn't matter whether or not you are part of this, Diesel, but you were the one who caused this accident to happen, and the accident to happen to Scarlowy earlier. You have been nothing but trouble since you've arrived here, and I have finally come to the decision that you will leave my railway. I don't want anything to do with you or your company. I'll be hiring lorries from now on to pick up scrap from my line. Luckily, though, you only need minor repair, which unfortunately is not the same thing I can say for Scarlowy. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, said Diesel 10. Feeling sorry himself. It was evening when Diesel 10 was finally put back on the rails, and he slipped quietly away, not saying anything to the small engines that laughed at him as he went by. Oh, what you know, I never knew diesels could become hyper from jam. Yes, that was a nice trick you played there, Sir Handel. Indeed! When the Think Controller arrived, he wasn't very happy. Well, nice trick or not, Sir Handel, you still cause confusion and delay, he said. He advanced towards Sir Handel, staring angrily. Now, I know he has been scaring you lot, but I was going to send him away after the accident he caused this morning. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Well, I can't be angry at you, because that joke was actually pretty funny. Hell, it's better than any practical joke I've done. But next time, Sir Handel, I hope you will not cause any confusion or delay. And he left, just when Scarlowy arrived. So, what have I missed? Oh, we've got a lot to tell you. A lot indeed. And for a long time after that, Whenever Peter Sam was to handle sorties of 10, they would always call him the Donut Engine.